every once in a while we get into these spirited conversations, and this is just what we do. This is always what we do, and we have to.
I do it to him on purpose.
Yeah, and so, but the thing is, she has her own valid points, and so we go back and forth, and it started off like this. I made a statement to her, and I was talking like if I was back in my 16-year-old self. See, right now, during this whole shutdown with the coronavirus, people are now having to do their school at home. And it's now remote learning, and everybody is trying to figure out how this process is going to work because nobody really wants to send their kids back into a school with 6, 7, 8, 900 other kids, especially if you're younger kids snotting and everything. If you ever been around those youth kids,
You
just
know I have.
oh yeah, you have. You got children's church, yeah, and they just cough and look at you now.
And they just love Sister Mitch. Oh no. Sister Mitch be like the whole class be with me. Yo, little man. What's the routine? What you supposed to do? Come on, give it to me. Y'all, what he supposed to do? They be like, man, put your. I had a cough police. I'm like, Sister Mitch too old. I can't be getting sick. Then get.
Yeah, and they don't know no better. And kids gonna be kids at the end of the day. So,
But they're children.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's kind of hard to expect them to do anything else.
But I was saying, as thinking back to my 16-year-old self, I said, man, if I had to go home for school, and it was going to be like, hey, we're not coming to the school. I said, man, I would probably be looking at like, what's my options of just going and dropping out of this thing, right? So I just wanted to know, as we talk, does the education system set you up for success? And I think your point to me was, why would you not want to take advantage of the education that was there just because you had to go home, right?
Right.
Okay, so I'll start out by saying the worst part of my schooling was homework, Lady Z. I could go to school, I could do the assignment, but it was at home. It was that homework, not being in that structured setting, is where I struggled at. And I can only imagine how my brain works even today, how I'm just kind of like all over the place, how I would be having to focus on that being at home. So I really do think that at that I would probably be looking like, are we ever going back to school? And if this is right now, we don't know. We're saying that this could go on for the next year or two, right? Mm-hmm. So I'll be looking like, wait a minute. So this can go on to the time I turn 18 or whatever the case may be, of time it's time for me to graduate. I probably would start to look around and say, what would be the issue? I mean, what would be the point of continuing this? Especially if there was nothing that I saw on a college level that I wanted to do. Because I think I was a natural born entrepreneur from the start.
Okay, well, first of all, you're 16, so you still don't really know what the heck you want to do. And as a black man, why would you limit your options and not at least get the basic education that you need? You're still going to need some of that stuff in order how to be the entrepreneur and all those things. And what else do you have to do? Other than sit around the house and get in trouble, because an idle mind is a devil's workshop.
Well, I probably wouldn't be sitting at home, though.
That's what I'm saying. But that's you. But that wouldn't be the average child.
And it might not be the average child.
But and then what are you teaching yourself, that every time something is a challenge or you don't like it, you quit?
No, I don't think that. I don't think
that's a tall step just to quit. And then that statement, I can't even fathom that, because that just wasn't an option the way we were brought up. You can. Well, okay. You could. So let me go back. You not going to school was not an option.
Okay, but let me go back and
so
dissect.
Like, what?
I'm gonna go back and dissect. You said, as soon as it got hard, I want to quit. I don't know if it was because as soon as it got hard, I would want to quit. I would just start to look at it and say, where's my interest at?
But it's not always about your interest. You need to finish. You need to learn.
I can learn without going to school.
Well, you can't learn without only a fool. If you teach yourself, you got a fool for a professor. You can't if you don't know.
Who said I would teach myself?
But how you gonna learn? What you gonna learn?
And second of all, you can't say who would teach themselves a fool, because we watched the movie Most Deaf, who taught himself how to do those heart transplants. He taught himself, so was he a fool for a professor?
He still had.
But did he not teach himself? Did he go to medical school?
He still had a basic foundation on how to do the things.
I had a basic foundation. By the
But
time you're 16, you got a basic foundation.
No.
It ain't nothing I learned at 17 and 18 in school that I use today.
Well, then I guess you didn't have the right teachers in, because that's
No,
not
it
true.
was the school system. What were they teaching me after you get past learning how to add, subtract? What they were teaching me how to multiply inside of the parameters and then add on the outside.
You need to learn how to communicate. You still need.
I was a master communicator by 16.
You still need to advance English. You still need to know. And again, why would you quit? You 16. You have nothing else to do.
Well, I would have had something to do. I wouldn't have quit. Thinking back at that time right now.
Okay, well, what if you were 16 and then you did that, and say you had something else to do, and then you got injured or hurt, and all you had was your mind that you had to use to be able to make ends meet. But why would you? And then if you at the house out there, your mama don't want your butt at the house. Get out my house and go through.
Again, you're assuming that I would have been at the house all day. But
if you don't have the discipline to stay within the regimen, because even if you get up, let me finish.
Okay, go for it.
Because even if you go on a job, you're gonna have to follow a regimen. You're gonna have to follow a structure.
But is my interest there though?
It doesn't matter, because you're 16, you're gonna lose interest in that.
Nah.
You're 16.
No.
You're 16. You're going to lose.
Do you know what I wanted to do at 16?
You're 16. You're going to lose.
Do you know what I wanted to do at 16?
In 6 months, you'd have been tired of what you were doing.
Nah,
and you'd have been moving on to something else.
That's unfair to say.
That's not unfair to say.
Do you know what I wanted to do at 16?
Boy.
Do you know what I wanted to do at 16?
What did you want to do at 16?
I wanted to get my real estate license. I wanted to be a realtor at 16. I don't need a high school diploma to do that.
I wouldn't, but me personally, I wouldn't want a realtor who didn't have a high school diploma. I'm just being honest.
Okay, when the last time you asked your realtor, did they have a high school diploma?
I didn't have to ask. I wouldn't ask the realtor if they didn't have a high school diploma. My point is,
you would know.
You would know the things that you had to do at 16. You would
know.
Okay,
so okay.
And I can't see nobody seriously hiring you for their firm if you didn't have the education in place. I just don't see it.
Again, you don't have to hire me for the firm. If I come in with the license, you're not hiring me. I'm coming as an independent contractor. So it's you're not hiring me to work for you. I'm technically working for myself. I'm paying you to be a broker.
Because no matter what, if we sit up here and we talking to them about the house, we doing the things, we get to talking about what's happening. We're like, okay, well, where'd you go to school at? Or blah, 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 blah. What about? Oh, well, I didn't finish high school. I'm be like, Joker, you ain't finna write on my contract. That's me.
Okay,
I'm
so
keeping
who
it 100.
That? But who says that though?
That would be me, because I will be finding out about
Who says
you.
What school did
I'm
you go to?
I'm gonna give you money and sign my name on the dotted line.
No, you're not giving me money.
I'm gonna look up to see what you got going on.
No, you have this.
No.
You have this
and
mindset.
How you gonna
pass?
Hold on.
You got a whole mindset.
How you gonna pass the license at 16 if you haven't even finished all your education?
No, not at 16.
How are you gonna pass it at 16?
Not at 16.
Well, then what were you gonna do?
I said I wanted to get my license. I would have to wait till I'm 18 to get my license.
Okay, well, how are you gonna pass at 18? You haven't had education for 2 years.
I don't need. Listen, first of all, I worked for a real estate company from the time I was in.
That wasn't taking the test. How were you going to pass the test?
Okay, so you keep saying let you finish. I'm gonna finish. I worked for a real estate company since the time I was 12 years old. I knew real estate already. When I did go get my license, you know, I breezed through the test because I'd had so much real estate knowledge that I didn't need to really study.
How old were you when you took the test?
I got my license when I was 20. I want to say I was probably 23. 23, 24.
Okay, so from 16, you had a whole lot of more years of living and learning other things. So you needed to stay in school. Get your education.
But where would I have been if I had started then? If I'd have started at 18, where would I have been?
If you started at 18, I don't know, you probably wouldn't be doing what you're doing right now.
I probably would have been super successful.
You couldn't get the job you have now in order for you to even take
I wouldn't have needed the job I have now. First of all,
how are you going to where were you going to get the money to take the real estate license at 16?
First of all, I was remodeling houses. I had a skill. I was remodeling houses in the real estate field. So guess what? The money I was making, I could have took the money I was making, paid for my real estate classes, start selling houses and worked on them, started flipping them, became a real estate mogul. So guess what? There's an airplane in the air owned by Richard Branson, Virgin Airlines, who dropped out of school at 15.
Okay,
you don't need that.
That's one person.
No,
the average person can't do that. That's one rare story.
So the white man can do it, but the black man
can't.
I
didn't say the white man can't do it.
So what makes him so special?
Because first of all, he is white.
That don't make him special.
That don't make him special, but that give him preference. You're not gonna have a certain preference with that black skin on you, bro.
I can't work.
No,
I can't work and make it happen.
Work a heck of a lot harder, and you already
I'm not scared
quit.
of work.
You already quit though.
I didn't quit.
You don't have that Caucasian persuasion. Yeah, you quit
I
school.
didn't quit.
You didn't want to do your education because I was not interested.
So right now, if a 17-year-old got the opportunity to go through and make a multi-million-dollar contract in the NBA, you would say he quit high school because he went to the NBA?
He still would get his diploma if it was me.
If it was you. But I'm saying, did he quit?
What's wrong?
No, did he quit? I got to ask a question. Did he quit?
No, he didn't quit. He could still get his diploma.
No, I could still get mine. I just said my interest is not here now, and I went on to start making money.
You're not gonna go back and get it. You said you didn't have no interest. You said you could because
if I needed the money, I would have had to change my interest.
You're not gonna be able to learn in a classroom, so you're not gonna do it because you said I can't do that.
No,
I said me, and I didn't have no interest.
I didn't. I asked my Miss Johnson, who's my sophomore algebra 2 class.
Ignorance. This is crazy.
How's it defending ignorance?
That's my take.
I think the ignorance is when we believe that the only way out is through the public education system, who has already started to show you that they have a school to prison pipeline. So a lot of it is really, you know what school is really set up for? For you to be factory workers. I don't want to work for nobody for the rest of my life. So guess what? When I'm sitting in school and I ask my sophomore algebra 2 teacher, when am I going to use this in life? She says, we're using it now. I said, no. I said, when am I going to use this in life outside this classroom? She said, well, maybe you want to be a scientist.
I don't know. When you get ready to build and stuff,
she said maybe when you want to be, she said you'd be a scientist. I said, I don't want to be a scientist. I said, you a full grown person. When do you use it not teaching us? And guess what she couldn't do? She couldn't answer it. At that moment, I said, what am I doing? When this lady who was sitting here teaching me is pretty much saying, you'll really never use this in life. My brain says, okay, let's go on to something else. Because she just admitted it and she gets paid to teach me. So I'm looking at her saying, okay.
Okay, so what's your option? What you gonna do? Since you so smart, you gonna drop out of school. You don't want to do what you gonna go get you can't stay at home because I'm sure if you drop out of school, your mama gonna tell you gotta get out of my house if you're not going to school. You need to have a house or a job. So what, you just gonna work and slave at 16 until you get a chance to get the opportunity to go do something else. But that's what you're gonna do. So since you done at 16, you done figured out, you've been living, you know so much. I don't need this just because you're in a class that you don't need.
Maybe
I'm asking you. What are you gonna do? What would I have done? What are you gonna do?
Again, thinking back to my 16-year-old self, whatever I would have did was I would have went back. I would have started going back to remodeling houses, which being a contractor makes a lot of money. And the other thing I would have did was I would have got my license at 18. I'm telling you, because the reason I end up getting my license is because that's what I wanted to do at 16. The reason it took me so long because I went to college and realized it ain't a damn degree they finna give me for something I want to do. So I was like, this ain't for me.
But you still expose yourself to find out whether you liked it or not. But you could have went to college if you didn't have your degree to find out you didn't want to do that. You still need.
When I went to college, I knew I was like, there's really nothing in here. But
okay,
again,
so college wasn't for you, but you still need the basic foundation.
I understand, but the basic foundation.
Why as a black man would you not want your education? I don't understand that.
I can get education. Okay, so that was the point that we was making. Wait, that was the point that we was making. No, this was the point that we was making. You said, why wouldn't you want your education? School and education don't really have anything to do with each other. I can get education outside of school. You know, license and diplomas cost money. Education is free.
But if you don't have that license and diploma in certain avenues, you're not gonna get the money.
Okay, well, you're not going in certain avenues. There's certain avenues that you don't.
No, but that's a thin road. Come on, Terance.
Okay, so do you know the average person that go to school, they make way less money than they make. Right, then the education cost them. So what good was their education? If you go to school and you got $100,000 in student loan, but you make $45,000 a year, that's a waste of time. I'm telling my child, go get a trade. Don't waste your time and money going to school to make $40,000 a year.
Okay, but in order for you to get that trade, you got to finish high school.
No, you do not.
In most trade industries, yes, you do.
Okay, so
with the way the laws are set up, most places are not going to hire you.
So if I got a trade, I know how to fix cars. What high school diploma do I need?
Depending on where you're going to work to fix the cars, you're going to have that certification. In order to have the certification, most places, in order to get into those schools, you need to have a diploma.
Okay, so I wanna do roofs. What certifications do I need?
You don't have to have certifications to do roofs.
Okay.
But is that what you want to do for the rest of your life?
I want to be, okay, because this is the new age now. I want to go through and I want to build web pages. What school do I need? I want to be a social media marketer. What page do I need? I want to be a PR person. What skill? What diploma do I need? I want to go through, and I
depend on what who's
and I can paint. I can paint. I can paint.
Well, if that's the kind of work that you want to do,
that's what I'm
saying. If
you
want to do manual labor, but but in the end time, when it comes for the things that require that education, you're gonna come to that impasse. You're not gonna have it.
I'm saying
and stop.
There's more stuff there's less stuff you think that needs that.
And once you get to a certain age, it's harder to get that stuff done. My point is, since you have nothing else on your plate to do, there's nothing wrong with you finish your education. That it ain't hurt you at all to finish it. What else you got to do?
You mean finish?
Because you're not finna tell me if you too lazy to sit in your room and watch a video, you're not finna get up and be on no clock, on nobody's clock every single day, getting up going to do the work. You would have to go back.
You would have to go back. You would have to go back. First of all.
Because it's still structure and discipline has got to be into that.
My work ethic right now has nothing to do with school.
Your work ethic at 16 would have had everything to do with school because it required you
for the last 2 years. So you mean tell me at 17, 18, I learned my work ethic going to school? For 17, 18 for what I have right now?
If stick with it. You saying copping out because something was a challenge. That's what I got a problem with. Your only reason for stopping is because you didn't find it interesting.
No, I would have had another plan. You know me. I'm a plan person. If I got another
you
plan.
At 16 though.
No, okay, but I'm saying I that's why I always tell people, a lot of people don't change too much. The work ethic you see today is the work ethic I had.
At 16, you change a lot. You gotta grow up.
No, here's the thing. You even mentioned how one time you said I wouldn't give my kid, a car. You know why my daddy gave me a car? Because he knew he's gonna take care of it. He's gonna change the oil. He's gonna make sure the tire's right. He knew this kid can do it.
But if you dropped out of high school, I doubt he gave you a car.
I mean, but we talking about something totally different. That's the thing. What I'm saying is I wouldn't have done this without an option, but my interest would have had to go through and say, okay, wait a minute. Let me go and find what it is I can do. If I had no options, okay, I got to stay here. But if I said, I can go make this money and I can go do this and I don't need this.
But how do you know you don't need it? You didn't finish the rest of the course. How do you know it wasn't something that you needed?
I'm the kid.
How do you know?
Lady
How
Z.
do you know you didn't need it?
You're only
16.
I'm the kid who teacher told you ain't going to use this.
That was one teacher.
Okay.
And you have used it. You've used
algebra.
Yes, you have.
I haven't used algebra 2.
Yes, you have. Anytime you're doing this stuff right here.
That's not algebra 2.
Yes, it is.
How?
Yes, it is. Because you got to know how to do the equations and do the fractions and break it down to know what you got to do.
Ain't no fractions in that.
Yes, it is. See, that show you what you don't know. Yes, it is.
What? In
order for you to know how to, that's how it is. You got to know how to break that down. You use algebra and fractions and cooking. You use it for everything.
You know what?
It's everyday stuff.
Okay. Fractions.
I use it all the time.
Fractions. I didn't learn fractions at 17, 18. I learned fractions early on. That's why I said the basis of it. I'm talking about. We was taking calculus in high school.
But you introduce your mind to other things. But how do you know?
We were taking calculus in high school.
But you would not have known. You might have liked calculus for all you know. But you won't know it if you didn't experience it.
Listen,
how do you know you weren't gonna like it?
Because there was a couple things leading up to calculus. I was like, I don't want that.
Okay, but
then guess what? I was like,
but how do you know?
I was like, yo, coach, get me out this class. This ain't gonna work. Let me go.
But how do you know?
How do I know?
But how did you know without experiencing? How do you know you didn't like it if you weren't there to find out?
Well, first of all, that particular class, I was like, they was like, the next one is calculus. I was like, don't even want that. I want to do something else because this right here leading up to it.
Like I said, everything is different in culture and raising. It's just amazing to me that could even develop in your mindset because that was not an option for it. It was always about learning more and doing better. You should never stop learning. So what's wrong with you being in a learning environment?
You should never stop learning.
Yeah.
What does school have to do with learning? School is not the end all.
I don't know what school you went to.
School is not the end all be all of learning.
I learned all kind of stuff.
School is not the end all be all learning.
There's no way I would have learned at home. Not during the time when I came up. We didn't have access to the internet.
So why do we do internships and things like that? Why when I got my real estate license, my uncle told me this. He said, "Go pass your test and then forget everything in that because I'll teach you real estate." You know why he told me that? Because he was like, dude, you just got to do that to get the certificate. I'll teach you real estate. Because he knew that school wasn't teaching you real estate. He already knew. You're going to learn more coming to me. Matter of fact, you know what they tell high school kids? You learn more sitting on the bench in the NBA than you ever do going to college playing the college ball. Why? Because the level is totally different. They're going to teach you how to run this system that's conducive for them. I'm going to teach you how to play real basketball. It's totally different. When you get on a level, you get around people.
You still have to have a foundation.
Who said I didn't have a foundation? What I'm saying is,
to,
I'm going back.
That's what your high school years are.
No. What you're saying is, what you're saying is, you had to have that diploma. If I've already been advanced enough to get the foundation, I didn't learn how to do fractions in my junior and senior year.
Okay,
I didn't learn how to.
But you had to learn how to. You got to learn how to write better papers in your English class and stuff like that. If you're gonna be in real estate is all verbal and written stuff. You got to know how to read those contracts. You got to know how to word them, verbalize them. You got to know how to spell the words. You got to know do all these things. If you're not staying in the classes that take you up to that level, how you gonna do it?
I wrote contracts. I helped write contracts at 16.
You helped write them, but that don't mean that you knew what all the verbiage and everything meant.
I didn't learn.
I didn't learn
that. I promise you, I didn't learn that.
And you had to be able.
With hindsight 2020,
you gotta take it to the next level.
Hindsight 2020. I know what I didn't learn and what I already knew and what I learned other places outside.
I have
of
one question.
Okay,
you saying this, so you tell me right now, if your daughter came to you right now and said, "Daddy, I do not want to stay in school. I want to drop out." What you gonna tell her?
What grade is she in?
It don't matter.
No, it doesn't matter.
No. You said because at 16 you knew, but she might know at 10. No. So what do you tell her?
No, it matters. Everything is relative. Everything is relative.
You don't get to put a limit on it.
Because see, instead of what I was telling you was, you said the basis, right? I told you, well, I'm talking about the last 2 years of school, and I'm thinking back what I would have thought probably at 16. The last 2 years of school, matter of fact, do you know by the time I hit 16, my sophomore year, I had already took the test to pass to graduate? So they was like, look, all you got to do is go in here and make a C. You're going to get through because the test that stops you, the standardized test that we was taking back in our day, we passed our sophomore year. So it was like, yeah, you already got the qualification to graduate.
Why didn't you just go ahead and graduate at 16 then?
I didn't have the required credits.
Well, you could have done summer school and got through.
Well, no, because summer school, guess what I was doing? I was working for a real estate company.
You didn't have to do that if you wanted to finish with something.
I didn't. I didn't.
You could have done both. You didn't have nothing else to do.
No,
you were 16. What else you have to do?
I was working all day. What do you mean?
You could have worked and done school. You multitask. You said you had this great mind. You could have done both.
No, that's impossible.
But you didn't answer my question. No. Your child comes to you and
what
tell you that
age?
What
no,
age? It don't matter what
First
age.
of all, no, everything is relative.
You just
everything
said
is relative.
You knew at 16. So if
I knew at 16.
She might know at 10. So what
now,
you gonna tell her?
So now here's the thing. She knows at 10.
She already knows what she wants to do.
She knows at 10, which is impossible. I'm not at 10 o'clock. At 10 years old, you don't have the basis.
I don't agree with 16.
You don't have the basis.
So how do you know? Because at 16, I just don't feel like you.
Well,
you don't.
Okay,
you don't
so
know
here's the thing.
Enough.
So maybe you didn't know enough at 16.
No, I knew more than you did at 16.
I highly doubt it.
Academically, I promise you, I did.
Academically. Okay, so how much academically at 50 plus are you able to lay down and not do nothing for the rest of your life? Because you make so much money.
That ain't got nothing to always do with money. Anything
that's
what
is
money.
What is life? So when you say you knew more than I did at 16, so I'm saying is for 16 to 50 plus, at this time, why can't you just say, you know what, I'm done because I knew so much more academically that I was so smart and I don't have to do anything now.
But I don't want to not do anything. I want to keep learning. You the one don't want to learn.
Okay.
You don't want. You the one don't want
learning versus going to your job every day that you work for 20 plus years. What are you learning there?
I learn stuff on my job every day.
From doing
the job.
The same job?
Yes, the same job because you never stop learning. Because technology never stops developing. You never stop learning.
Okay, so how much have you took that technology that you've learned and applied it to your own stuff?
I apply it to my job so I can keep getting paid. I like what I do.
You apply it to your job to keep making other people's rich.
I don't care. I don't
Okay, see that? Okay, that's the difference.
But
that's the difference.
Why would you drop out?
But
you never answered my question.
So watch this. Watch this.
She knew at 10. What you gonna tell her?
The biggest separation in any conversation
what she gonna tell you?
is the entrepreneur versus the employee mindset.
But I don't want to be an entrepreneur.
I know. That's what I'm saying. That's where that's the biggest gap between any conversation.
Because my daddy was a staunch entrepreneur, but he also was a staunch believer in education.
I'm a staunch believer in education too.
No. I'm talking about getting your actual education. So
Bingo.
that's what I'm talking about.
Bingo.
Learning.
Slave mentality.
You never stop
That's
learning.
slave mentality.
That ain't no slave mentality.
You said getting your
find
actual
out what you need to know. You need to know. You still need to keep learning.
Okay, so here's the thing. So you mean to tell me in no situation I can
stop,
find out?
But you still never answered my question. Okay, she's 16. What are you gonna tell? What are you
Okay,
gonna tell
okay.
your daughter?
I just told my
know
daughter
her
this.
mama ain't
I just
gonna
told,
go for it.
I just
But what
told
you
my
gonna
I
tell
just
her?
told my wife this. This is the conversation.
Because your wife ain't having it.
I said if she was 16 and she had a business that was like, she said, Daddy, I'm making money at this business, and look how much money I'm making. This how much money I could make if I were to put more time in here, do more marketing, more this, more that, more this. If I saw that as being a valuable option, then guess what? All of her classes then would be to help that business, not anything that's going to waste her time. I would say, listen, there are...
No, she said she want to stop school. She don't want to take no more
No.
classes.
See,
she know everything. That's what you told me. You said you knew everything.
You ain't going to change these words.
You didn't bother to
You're
try
not going to change these words.
Why you didn't try to find...
You're not going to change these
why
words.
You didn't try to find a class where you could learn and stay in school? Why you didn't
I didn't say there wasn't going to be a class you have to take. I didn't say there wasn't to be a school that you had to get into. I said the K through 12 school system.
You said you were
I had to go to class and go to school to get my real estate license. I knew that, but my interest was there.
You said you were going to drop out of school.
School, K through 12.
Okay, the same school. I'm talking about. She talking about dropping out of school.
Okay, so
what you going to tell her?
So she
don't want to take no more classes.
No. You're going to have to take classes to help your business. But
that's an education.
But here's the thing: if you got a home ec class on your, you need that. You got a class that's talking about you going into calculus and nothing you do has to do with high level math like that. That's a waste of time. Maybe a business accounting class would be good at the community college. Maybe a high level marketing class would be good at the community college. Maybe so. Go do what your interest is, because I guarantee you're going to focus harder if you're dealing with something in your interest.
But community college classes have prerequisites, so she can't take the class without prerequisites. So what is she
you can listen? Wait a minute. No, I had a 14-year-old girl in my college class in math class. So yes, you can. She hadn't graduated school yet.
She was 14, but that means she had mastered the math at that level.
But she hadn't graduated yet.
But I didn't say graduated. I said prerequisite. She has to pass a certain class in order to get into that class. That's what I'm saying to you. So it's a prerequisite. Even if you don't sit through the class, you still need to know the date. You got to know the information.
You know what? Okay. So if that's the case,
advanced placement. You could have been through a school. If you were so bored with this, why you just do advanced placement classes?
Okay. Again, I didn't live through a pandemic, number one. Number two, I was playing football and liked playing football, number two.
That has nothing to do with what classes you took.
No. You said, why did I do advanced placement?
So, advanced placement classes.
To me, advanced placement when I was in school meant that those were people who were in they were still going to school on the same level. They just had faster taught classes.
No, you could have those classes. You could have earned more credits, and you could have went ahead and just got out of school. That's what I'm saying. So if you really wanted to get out of school, so you could work, and you felt
no.
and learned everything you needed to know.
I didn't want to get out of school and work. I told you if the school was set up to where I had to be at home for a time, I didn't have to live through that. That's what I'm saying. This is a hypothetical. Thinking about how I was at 16, I know I would have struggled because my grades always dipped down because of once I left that, because I didn't care about it. That's where my grades started at. My grades were better in the classroom than it was on my homework. On my homework, it was like, yo, let me copy that real quick.
To me, just like that. To me, that's a lack of discipline. If you can do your homework, you lack the discipline. So if you like the discipline, that's the point. If you like the discipline to do the things by yourself there, how did you think when you got out into the world you were going to take that same discipline? I don't see that.
Right now, Terance J, have the discipline because I find interest that I want to do.
No, you're a grown man. Now you done went through enough lessons to know that you got to do it. I'm talking about at 16.
At 18, was I a grown man then?
Were you still in school at 18?
Yeah.
It depends.
So when I graduated school, or when I was still in school and working and showing up to work every day and becoming leaders over people older than me while I was still in school, I didn't have to work ethic. Listen, one of the things that my uncle who I worked for with his own company told my dad, he was like, this boy right here has a work ethic of a grown man. because he shows up when he's supposed to show up, do what he's supposed to do. I never had to worry about him. It was one time where I didn't take the initiative on the job site, and he told me about it, and he never had to worry about that again because that's the way I was raised. So the work ethic has been there. I did not, because in that case, you know what you'd have said? You'd have said, well, if you quit college, then how you gonna have when college get difficult?
College ain't for everybody. I didn't say nothing about college. I'm talking about you getting your basic.
No, you said your actual education.
No, I'm
actual
talking
education
about
don't necessarily mean that.
Foundation.
I pull you up a list of people who dropped out of school and the people who didn't finish whatever their actual education, and they got more education than known some of the smartest people in this world.
Oh no,
they got education.
The program ain't got nothing to do with how
education
smart you
is
are.
free. Education is free. Certificates and diploma cost money. Think about it. How many of y'all, and I'm going to be funny a little bit, how many of y'all go to the barbershop and there's a dude in there with a license certificate that you wouldn't dare go sit in his chair? He got certificate, he got the actual education, and you got your homeboy in the department that can make your hair be ready for GQ. Because guess what? His education, he learned how to cut, was free. Old boy just got the license. Education is free. Licenses and the certificates cost you money. And I'm going to tell you, when it comes to especially higher education, when you go to college, if you ain't going to school to go out and make some real money, I tell you, go find a trade.
When it comes to certain opportunities, whether you good or not, if you
certain opportunities.
But if it's certain opportunities that you gonna want because you want to take it to the next level, if you don't have that license, you don't even be considered. That's all I'm saying. So why cut yourself short? If you naturally that good at it, finish it. Why you gotta stop? You mean to tell me you don't have it? If you had enough work ethic and discipline, all this stuff you done spouted about how you could handle yourself in a situation when you went to work, you mean to tell me you can't control yourself in a room and learn what you got to learn? And
I have interest in it.
You probably, it don't matter what you have an interest.
Yeah, it does.
You probably could have got it done in half the time and still wouldn't have done the stuff that you were interested in. So why would you just cop out?
The difference between
it don't add up.
The difference between me and you is
a lot of stuff I don't have interest in. But I still do it if it's a necessity for what I need to have.
But
it's a means to an end.
But what is your goal to get out of doing that stuff?
It don't have to be a goal. It's necessary.
I'll see. It's a goal for me. It's a goal for me.
So then why
like
you
right now,
finish?
my job.
Why you just couldn't finish?
That you arguing a total different thing.
No, it's a necessity for you to have. So
it wasn't a necessity. That's a necessity from your opinion.
No, why could you finish?
I know some people right now that make more money than me, and they don't have that education.
Why couldn't you finish it? But for the average Joe, that's not going to work.
I'm not the average Joe.
So why wouldn't you
But
finish?
see, I guess that's
your problem. So I said,
I'm not the average Joe.
Because you got average Joe.
I'm more than the average Joe.
Nonsense and think that applies to them, and it doesn't.
And it might not apply to you. It might not apply to you. Get your education. Learn. It might not necessarily
get your diploma. You don't have to go to college. But get your diploma, babies. Don't listen to Terance.
Here's the thing. What school teaches you, it teaches you the 3 R's. To read, remember, and redo what other people have done. Does it teach you creativity? Does it teach you entrepreneurship?
I can't agree with you on that.
It does.
No,
it does.
That's your
history.
View.
No, do the history.
No,
do the history.
That's your
I
view.
will find you the thing that shows you
view.
School was created to build factory workers.
That is your view.
No, I didn't create that.
Was created. That's not what school was for me. So that's your view.
Lady Z.
I got some of the best opportunities in school. So you
got some of the best opportunities.
Yes, I learned all kind of stuff and found the things that I like to do.
And guess what?
I like tapping into all kind of things.
And guess what?
What?
You're a living robot right now.
I like being a damn robot.
I hate it.
Okay. But still,
that's what I'm saying.
Rise to the challenge.
No, that's not a challenge.
That's
not a challenge.
You a cop.
Me and you together right now. We'll admit this. We'll admit that our jobs are easy compared to a lot of people. But I go to work to be a robot. So does Lady Z. I don't want to be a robot. Lady Z says she's fine with it.
I'm fine at this period in my life being a robot for what I need to do in the long term because I have goals. Being a robot right now is necessary for me to do the things that I want to do down the road because I need certain things to do as a robot to get to the things that I want to do.
Necessary.
But I'm going to always work,
necessary,
and I'm going to always
to
continue to learn.
Necessary.
Those are things I'm going to do.
Being necessary and wanting to is 2 totally different things. You just said you want to. Being necessary is drinking a kale smoothie to get to your weight loss goal. Do you want to? No. But it's necessary to get to where I'm going. What I'm saying is I don't like having to drink kale smoothies 24 hours a day. So maybe what I'll do is I'll get to a point to where I do get to that point, and now I change my whole diet so I don't have to make myself suffer drinking kale smoothies because I have glutton on so much stuff for my past life. What I'm saying is when it's necessary versus what you want to. So it's necessary for me to create a business, create an opportunity. It's necessary for me to go to work because my bills don't get paid if I don't. Do I want to? No. My job don't pay me enough. My job don't pay me enough for what I'm worth. You told me your job pays you enough for what you do. We weren't talking about what you do, for what you are worth. The time, your daily hour.
I get paid dang good by the hour for what I do.
Stop saying what I do. No. Stop saying what I do for you. For you. Do you not think?
Wanting to educate yourself and learn.
Who said I don't want to educate myself?
They wanted to keep you dumb so you couldn't learn nothing.
You just said it. You just said it. You said for what I do, because you keep adding in, because you know your argument doesn't work unless you say for what I do.
It works for me.
Lady Z, you are special.
I'm sorry.
No, you are special.
I feel like this is such an asinine argument.
No, you are special. Listen, you are special. You are a dynamic woman. You are very intelligent. You could make a lot of money in certain avenues in life, way more than you make now. You can spend more times with your daughters than you get a chance to now. You can go into those things that you love to do, than you have time to do now. But you say, from what they pay me for what I do, and I say, yeah, but how much are you worth? Are you worth more than what they pay you? What they pay me for what I do? No. For who you are. They don't pay me enough, and I make great money. They don't pay me enough. There's a dude at work, he always say, instead of saying, hey, how you doing? He say, man, what you think? I said, they don't pay me enough to think here. I just do. I charge more to think. They don't pay me enough. I need to make more money, but I know I'm not going to make more money doing that because that's where they value that at. So they have put a ceiling on top of my head. And guess what? All slaves have a ceiling on top of their head. The free people don't have a ceiling. They just go out and they just go do when they want to do, how they want to do. Does Diddy want to do a photo shoot at 5 o'clock in the morning? No. He got to do those things he got to do because he's finna promote a liquor brand that's finna make him $400 million this year.
But that's what he want. I don't have to have $400 million.
I understand.
That's not.
Do you want 40 hours a week back though?
Do I want 40 hours a week?
Do you want 40 hours a week to do what Lady Z want to do? Back.
I do those 40 hours because Lady Z does do what she want to do.
Do you want 40 hours back?
I don't necessarily always want to do this, but I do this because I love my friend.
Do 40 hours, you want 40 hours back?
No, I don't want 40 hours back. You can't get it back once it's passed.
Do you want it back in your life starting tomorrow? Next week, do you want to get 40 hours to be able to do what you want to do?
What do you mean?
Do you not want to trade your time for money to somebody else to give you money? Do you not want to get those 40 hours back? Would you love to make your same yearly salary at 10 hours a week? You would love to get the same amount of money working 10 hours a week, wouldn't you? Versus 40 hours.
If I'm at that stage, I'm gonna be making more than what I make now. I'm good right now.
Okay. All right. Ron said, folk where I work are some high school dropouts making close to above $60 an hour. It happens, man. That's what I'm saying. Education is free. Degrees and certificates make money.
Get your education.
No, get your education. However that education may come.